Let's talk about how to close more law firm clients. Hi, I'm Nate Law of CoachLaw.biz, and I'm here to help you get more clients with 5 easy steps. Now, you get clients walk into your door, find you online, come to you with a problem, want to hire you or think they need to hire you, but you don't always close them. How can we fix that? Let's look at 5 ways to do it. First, listen for the real problem. Potential clients will come to you and they'll have a whole story about where they're at, where they came from, how they think they got there, what they think they need. Your main job, if you can give it to them, to convince them to stick with you, is to hear them out, but to do it in a way that you reframe back to them one simple sentence as to what they really need. So as you're listening for their real problem, look for opportunities to reframe what the real outcome they need is. So give them a picture of not just where they're at, but what they need and what they need to come out from on the other side is. And if you can do that in one sentence, then you'll have them convinced that you have heard them, that you understand what their stress is right now and what the real solution is going to be. So give them a picture of what the final outcome could mean for impacting them, their lives, their family's life, and give them a really vibrant picture of what that looks like and contrast it with how they're feeling right then and there. So maybe in a family law case, it sounds like you have to reduce your child support payments just to make ends meet right now. And then that's having them be heard. And then the flip side of that is to say, and if we can get you those lower child support payments, then your life is going to be X. You're going to have the ability to do this, this, and this. And that's going to just give them a very clear, vibrant picture of what it's going to look like on the other side. So listen for the real problem. Number 2 is gauge their current knowledge. Clients will come to you and they'll have varying knowledge of both legal options, but even varying knowledges about their options just practically, and kind of how they even got to where they are in life right now that's making them come to see you. So this is about kind of the exploration process with your client, and it's all about asking the right questions. So some questions might be along the lines of how much they've explored their legal options and situations, such as, have you ever had the chance to work with a lawyer before? Just ever, not even regarding this issue, but have you ever worked with a lawyer before? Some might be, have you already talked to a lot of lawyers about this? What have you found? Asking questions that kind of give them permission to disagree with you as well, because sometimes when you're trying to gauge their situation, they may not want to disagree with you, but you kind of want them to sometimes, in terms of saying, nope, you're off track. That's not where I am. This is where I am. Because you don't want to be wrong about that. You want them to correct you. So one way you can do that is by saying something along the lines of, this may not resonate with you, but oftentimes when people come to me in your specific situation, I find that they feel like this, or that they think they need X, but really in my working with them, I discover they need Y, some other thing. And then just by framing it in terms of, this may not resonate with you, or you may not find this quite right, that gives them the permission to say, oh yeah, no, that is absolutely where I am, or to correct you and put you back on track and say, no, actually, we need to be headed in this other direction. You want to make sure when you're gauging their knowledge that you kind of know about what their knowledge base is, because that's going to help you speak into their situation and give them the kind of information that they really need. You want to make sure it's not coming from friends or people that really, are just throwing guesses out there. You don't want them relying on faulty information. So it's also helpful because then it gives you the next step to bring them in and to know what value you can provide to them as well. Number 3 is give them a takeaway. You want to provide them with some quick initial information that gives them value. I mean, you want to just give them a gift. Say something along the lines of, if you take nothing else away from this conversation today, make sure you remember this. Or, something I've noticed in people in your situation is that they often miss this pitfall sometime along the way. So always remember that. And those are things that you can give them, whether or not they hire you or whether they're working with a lawyer or not, ever. Something for them to watch out for. I think what this really does is two things. One, it gives you credibility to them because then they understand that you've been there before, you've seen this situation happen before, and so they can trust you. They know that you're gonna be looking out for their best interests and what to watch out for. Second, it provides them with real immediate value right then and there. And they understand that you must really care about them if you're giving them information that's helpful to them right then and there, regardless of whether or not they actually decide to hire you and work with you. And you need to be thinking about the long term anyway, even if this person doesn't end up being a client and they don't need you right now, as it turns out. Well, then you've given them the gift of saying, hey, you don't need a lawyer, you just need to do this. But that gives you a credibility for marketing, because then this person is going to go, and if they see someone else in that situation, they can say, oh, I was in that situation before, I thought I was. This lawyer gave me some really helpful advice, even though I didn't work with them. That can be a referral source for the long term that you may not even think of, even if this potential client is someone who doesn't decide to ultimately work with you. Number 4, when you're trying to close a law firm client, never apologize about your fees. Don't do it. Your fees are reasonable, they are worth it. You provide value. And that's what you need to remember in the conversation with your client with the potential client. But you need to remember that you're connecting the value of what you're providing to that fee. That's the opportunity in the conversation that you have with this potential client, is showing them the value. One question that you can ask, or kind of a response that you can provide if someone says, well, that's a lot of money. You charge that much per hour, or that's your flat fee for this? One response you can have to that is, okay, let's step back. We've talked about already, the situation that you're in. You've already identified the potential client's real problem. They've heard you, they believe you, they find you're a credible professional. And, so you describe that back to them. You say, this is what we talked about. If you come out on the other side of this with this picture, how much is that worth to you? And it gets them thinking, right? And maybe, worst case scenario, they say, oh, well, a lot less than what you charge or something like that, right? Then maybe it's not the right client. But it takes them back to say, okay, well, is this really important? How important is this? And it helps them prioritize a little bit in terms of kind of where they're at, what they need, how important is this thing that I really need to get done. So don't apologize about your fees. Be confident in the value you provide, show them that value, and like I said, connect that cost or that value back to their real problem and show how it's going to address that. If you need some other tips on flat fees and how to discuss those or why those are valuable, see my video on 7 reasons to use flat fees. And also be sure that you like and subscribe while you're doing that, because this is going to get you more information about really getting the best possible law firm clients. So number 5, when you're really trying to close this potential client, show them how you are going to help them. So you've already talked about maybe fees and things like that and the value you provide, but give them a really specific picture that takes the mystery out of the process. You've got somebody sitting in front of you who says, oh my gosh, I'm going to be paying all this money. What is this person really going to be doing for me? Give them 3 steps, 3, 4, 5, however many steps that you are going to take immediately when they hire you. And so give them that picture and say, if you hire me today, based on what we've talked about, these are the first 3 things I'm going to do. I'm going to contact opposing counsel. I'm going to contact the DA. I'm going to file this document with the court. I'm going to send a letter to this other person. I'm going to, set up your file and make sure we have a roadmap for you and I for next steps. Whatever these things are, give them 3 or 4 things that are part of your normal process, not complicated things. And these could be little things. Again, like things related to making sure the file is set up in such a way that you're going to be, on top of their case in a timely manner, or who you're going to contact. These are all things that you already know and you as a lawyer probably take for granted, but take the mystery out of the process for this potential client. Show them the specific things that they are getting by hiring you. Because by doing that, you're really going to inject a sense of accomplishment and excitement for them, because they're going to say, oh, that's great. As soon as I hired this person, they're really going to be working on my case, and I know already the first few steps that they're going to take, so they know what to expect, and they already feel like they've gotten that value because they're picturing themselves having an advocate, you, that is taking action on their behalf right away, and they know what that looks like. So with those 5 tips, I know you're going to close more law firm clients, and you're going to be off to a really good, positive relationship with your clients. And if you're interested in other, not necessarily law firm even specific, but just general selling things, if you really feel like you struggle in this area, a really good book is called Feel Good About Selling. And that's by an author named Ted Olson. And that can give you a lot of really good tips at just being clear and being concise and really confident in the value that you want to express to this potential client and how to get them in the door and move forward in a good way. Thanks again for watching. Be sure to subscribe to see more helpful information about your building your small law firm, and I hope to see you next time.